Mm,
G'day everyone,
yeah,
welcome
that's the
back to
good
the
stuff.
yeah, that's good stuff. Welcome back to the couch. Slightly different episode today, and I'll let you introduce what that's going to be. Willie over there in London.
Yeah, we've had a bit of a request from not only our Australian viewers, but just people interested in NRL rugby league that want a state of origin bit of ramble from us on what our thoughts are and maybe predictions for the first games. So since it is state of origin, do we need to do a welcome to country or will that get us cancelled?
No, I think it's probably appropriate to do a welcome to country. Do you have one ready though? I'm not too
Yeah.
used to doing a welcome to country myself.
Yeah, I can't say it's something I'm completely used to, but yeah, and I don't think they really follow too much of a script. So I guess we could really say anything as long as we chuck Elder Will in front of it,
Yeah.
and then yeah, but no, we'll try to stay away from that to be too cancelled. But yeah, maybe we just pump into a little bit of a our thoughts on. Do we start with New South Wales? I think Kazir was out earlier. A bit more
Yeah.
time for some dust to settle. So
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
those of you living under a rock and don't know the team, I'll just pump through it for you real quickly. So Dylan Edwards at the back, Tyler and Lomax on the wings, Stephen Crichton, Latrell Mitchell in the centres, Mitch Moses and Nathan Cleary, 6-7, front row of Barnett and Haas with Reece Robson, your rake there. And then your back rows of Liam Martin and Angus Crichton with Isaiah Yeo lock and a bench of Connor Watson, Mount Druitt, Lenu, Hardy Young and Max King.
Yeah. Nice.
So any initial thoughts or surprises on players included there? Um,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
a couple. I think like for the most part, it's pretty much what you'd expect. Like they've obviously tried to stick to pretty similar to what won them the series last year.
yeah,
Um, I had some thoughts that I jotted down. So I think the first. Do you want me to just go over a couple that I think were quite lucky to make it?
yeah. We'll start with ones that are in the team, and then maybe go on ones that didn't make it,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
yeah.
So I think like there's quite a lot of competition in the back five. Um, but
Hmm.
they're like you've obviously got people that like haven't played much this year that they were still going to pick. So like people like Brian Tor, and then even Latrell hasn't played heaps. But when those guys are fit, they're always like locks. They're always going to be there. So
Yeah,
no real surprise there, even though they haven't played much first grade. Um,
yeah,
the one that I think was a little bit, it's a hard one. I think the makeup of the team is kind of what you'd expect. Obviously, I think I've got Cleary as a little bit lucky, which is a bit controversial, and
mm,
that's only because they've changed a winning halves combo. So,
yeah,
um, I mean, obviously Moses and Luai got the job done last year, and they ended up being
yeah.
quite a nice balanced halves pairing. But I also
No,
get that
absolutely.
you're gonna pick Cleary, so it's that real
Yeah,
tricky one where you don't really want to change it, but you have to pick Cleary, and then who do you go with them? It's hard to say they've done the wrong thing with going Moses, but they actually might have. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What
yeah,
were your thoughts on the halves?
yeah. Honestly, the halves. I think honestly, any way they went, um, is just like you can't really see anything wrong with any of the combinations of the three players. I don't think. Like if they were going
Yeah,
to be loyal, stick with Moses and Luai because they did it fair. If they were going to go with Cleary and Luai, tried and tested at club level,
yeah,
um, fair. And if they're going to go with what they have now, Moses and Cleary. That's fair as well because like you can't really leave Cleary out as the only that's the
yeah,
only thorn in the side. They just have a bit too much choice, which is probably where New South Wales always seems to fail, and especially where
mm,
Daly in the past kind of has. So it'll be
yeah,
interesting to see. I think it will be. I think the combo will be pretty decent, but Clary and Moses are a lot more similar players than Luai and either of the other two. So I think
yeah,
Luai complements the other one better than just having these two side by side. What are your
yeah,
thoughts?
yeah. No, definitely, and that's the only way it could potentially like not work is if they don't kind of get it sorted beforehand in terms of like who's going to be the primary kicker and like the alpha if they're kind of like trying to fight over the ball and stuff like that, then
Yeah,
that's the only way where it could get a little bit shitty. But on paper, it's obviously like a pretty exciting pairing that should work well. Um,
yeah.
and then I mean I can't really talk about the other ones that I reckon are lucky unless I'm talking about the ones that are missing out. So do you want to talk
hmm
about anyone else first or?
Um, yeah, I think like yeah, probably Reece Robson for me. I think there's been better hookers, much better hookers in the competition this year.
Yeah,
Even like I'm actually glad he didn't make it, but Wade
yeah,
Egan could easily be an Origin rake.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't think Robson's been amazing this year. But I guess his performances last year, I think they just want a style of nine where they just want a tough prick who's not
yeah,
gonna be too like adventurous, make all his tackles, and that's what he is. So not surprised they've gone with that. The rest of the forward pack is just the same as last year. They're just gone for loyalty base, which both of us can get behind. That's our kind of brand,
definitely.
um, just in life. Yeah. So and then the bench, yeah, bench is what you expect apart from Max King, which I guess we can probably
Mm.
crack into that can of worms right now.
Yeah, so yeah, he's obviously one that I've got as a wee bit lucky. I don't like it's a hard one because I don't think he's been playing really well. I actually really
No,
like what
I don't
makes.
think he's unlucky. I just think it's like I don't think he's been.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't
bad.
think he doesn't deserve it, but I
Yeah,
think others might
yeah,
deserve it a
yeah.
bit more than he does.
Yeah, and that's where it comes down to. So I've got both. So Stefano Utukamanu obviously is on the extended bench too. So I've
hmm
gone the fact that Utukamanu and King have made it over Terrell May is like obviously crazy.
Yeah.
Unless Daly's just concerned about May as a person and the culture.
Oh, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't, I don't know if you would have seen Terrell Davis May live streams where
yeah. I
he
saw that.
makes jokes about chucking the
Yeah,
Blues jersey out and shit like that.
yeah,
That's the reason he'll never get picks.
yeah,
But yeah, good for your fantasy teams out there. If you stick a C
yeah,
on him, he seems to
yeah,
make 60 tackles in the middle and without a
mm,
miss and run
yeah,
for a few fucking run it straights. Yeah,
yeah. 100%. Yeah, I get that it's probably a culture thing, but usually Queensland are the ones to not pick a guy on culture as opposed to New South Wales. Like New South Wales just pick dicks usually, so very obviously
yeah,
surprised there. And like a combo of him and Haas through the middle is pretty good in the sense that you could probably play them both for 70 minutes, and you can just be so flexible with the rest of your bench if you were going to play them. So
yeah.
yeah, so he's a big one. I actually think Uto Kamanu's form hasn't been great. Like his discipline's been pretty awful. So I think he hasn't been that as good at the Storm as what most, including myself, thought he would be.
Mm,
So he's pretty lucky. I would have at least thought May as like an extended bench for first time would have been
yeah.
fair enough. Um, and yeah, Max King's been good, but in a real good team, and I guess that helps as well. But um,
Mm,
he is a good forward, so it's a hard one. But I just don't
no,
know
for
if he
sure.
gives as much as Terrell May.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, you spoke about Wade Egan. I think yeah, he's been playing better than Robson. I can kind of understand it. Like Robson, yeah, he's just your 50 tackles a game, real simple
Yeah.
hooker.
Yeah.
They're probably even potentially worried about Wade Egan getting a head knock or something in Origin early, and then you're
Mm,
kind of under the pump. So I wonder if that's kind of come into it. But
yeah.
Robson's pretty durable. He was
But
doing
that
the
is
job.
why you have your Connor Watson on the bench though for that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, but I still don't
because
think
I
it's
think
ideal.
even Madge didn't play him that much last year. He only played him like fucking 10 minutes a game, didn't he? Like towards the end, like
Yeah,
he didn't
true.
actually
Yeah, yeah.
get too much game time. He's just there
Hmm.
kind of as cover.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
no, I think their bench, yeah, it's a bit interesting. Yeah, you would have thought a probably a May and Haas to start, or
yeah,
have May coming off the bench would have suited them a little bit more. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, for sure.
what are your
Um,
thoughts on Hudson Young not starting? I'm a massive advocate of. I reckon Crichton would have been better off the bench than Hudson Young.
yeah, I don't know about it. I feel like Hudson Young kind of in some ways is like a elite first grader that his style doesn't kind of suit Origin. I don't know. I don't know.
Mm,
I wonder about whether he's like his style is a bit too like flair, like first grade based, as opposed to like you know grind like Origin type footy. I guess
Yeah,
you kind of seen that previous Origins, but and Crichton's a bit more old school like Origin type, so I can kind of get it. But Hudson Young's a weird one, eh? Because I think he's not really like a. I find it weird that he's on the like he is on the bench, and him being a
yeah.
bench player, I don't know whether that gives you anything.
No,
Like probably you
that's
either
what.
start him or you don't have him. Yeah,
No, that's what I mean.
yeah,
Like for me, he's a player you start, or and I think that
yeah. He's
Crichton,
not there.
like that's what I mean with Crichton being more suited to the bench. I think you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
even bring Crichton on through the middle as
Oh, of
well
course you could.
if, like, yeah. So that's why I think. But
Yeah,
that's the way they've gone. Maybe they'll
yeah,
do that in game. Like
yeah,
maybe they have Crichton on for the first 20, and then push him in the middle, bring Hudson Young on or some shit like that. Who knows?
yeah, for
Probably
sure.
not, but
Yeah,
yeah. Any other the rest of the team kind of picks itself, like you
yeah,
say. The back five would have got
yeah.
picked. Probably Travojevic, the only other
That's
one that
yeah.
would have just got picked, but he hasn't looked that great
Nah,
since returning.
he's the
Probably for
only
the
one I
best of
wanted to talk
everyone.
about. Yeah, as
Yeah,
well. I just think because Turbo is one of the ones, and it's not like similar sort of mold to like Brian Toto or Latrell in the sense that like if he's fit, you pick him kind of thing. But I
mm,
get that he's not what he was, but I still think he's
yeah,
kind of like a big game player. So I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd try to put him in there somewhere,
mm,
and just trust that he'd be up for it. Like
yeah.
I just always he's a
No, I
big
get
game
what you
player.
mean. I get
So
what you mean. I think it might be a ploy. I reckon he might be back for like a game two
yeah,
game. I think there will be some sort of injuries. Someone on the back five is going to get ruled out. I reckon
yeah,
he's going to have an impact in the series. So I reckon
yeah,
they're probably just saying like cool your jets for a little bit. Just make sure
yeah.
you're in good fucking form. Have a couple of good first grade digs and then go
Yeah.
from there. And yeah, I reckon he'll have
100%.
a big part to play in the
Because
series because he's a freak.
yeah, and I guess like he's not going to start over Crichton and Mitchell in the centres, even though that's his best position in
No,
Origin. But you could
yeah,
even if like a Lomax goes down or something, you chuck him on the wing, something like that. So
yeah,
um, nah, for sure. So
absolutely.
do you want to go to the Queenslanders?
Yeah, we'll go to the Queenslanders. At the back, Kalen Ponga, wingers, Xavier Coates and Valentini Holmes. Centre, biggest call of the whole thing, Bobby Toyer
Yeah,
and the Hammer. Then halves of Munster, Cherry Evans. Front row, Fodawaker and Tino. Then on the edges, Ruben Clarter and Jeremiah Nanai, with Patrick Carrigan at lock and did I say Harry Grant at nine? But that probably speaks for itself. Then on the bench, Tommy Dearden, Lindsay Collins, Beau Moore, and Trent Liero. Um, Firstly, obviously, got to be the biggest talking point of the whole fucking team selections. Rob Toyer, after 10 games of first grade,
yeah,
um, getting picked to come up against the Trell.
yeah, yeah.
Um, pretty interesting call there, but could pay off. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the thing with Queensland, um, as opposed to New South Wales, obviously is the depth side of it. So like they don't. I feel like with the Queensland teams, they don't obviously don't have as much competition in each position, and as soon as they start to
Mm,
have a few injuries, this kind of thing would happen, and we've seen it with like previous years. Both Cobbo and Xavier Coates played pretty early in the career, like first season
yeah,
type things.
yeah,
Um, AJ Brimson too, I think, just played in like his second year,
yeah.
so not uncommon.
He's English now, isn't
Yeah, yes, yeah.
he?
Yeah, so Toya, like again, you kind of expect these sort of not well, you don't expect them, but it doesn't surprise you when it's Queensland
Mm,
making that sort of call. I
yeah.
mean, I'm just trying to think with all that with the injuries they've got, who else was in contention with them? Like I can't even.
Uh, yeah,
They're
without
pretty,
the injuries, could have
pretty
been
clear.
like a Howarth. I would have
Yeah, it's a Howarth
maybe
obviously.
expected a Howarth, but apart from
Yeah,
that, it's
yeah,
probably like you have Val Holmes,
yeah.
um,
Yeah,
that,
you'd have to look at the
and
rest of
then
the junior Kiwis system to see who was next off
and
the
then you
ranks.
put your
But yeah,
Jesse Arthurs on the wing, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, try to get Militalo back.
Yeah. So now like nothing. I guess because of the injuries, no obvious surprises. I kind of like it in a way, like with Toya. He's pretty powerful,
Mm,
so I wonder if he is the
yeah,
kind of player that
I
can stop a
I don't
Mitchell.
know.
But
I saw heaps of his stats. You know, at centre, he's literally made like double pretty much every. He's made like 200 tackles this year at like a crazy efficiency. He's like the highest center efficiency out of anyone.
Oh, true.
And he's literally made like double the amount. He's made like 200 tackles
Yeah,
plus, while all the others have made like 100. Like Stephen Crichton's made like 110
yeah,
at
yeah,
like 93%, and Toya's made like 214 at like
yeah,
higher than that, which is mad.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
must be
No,
why they've picked him for his defense. But
yeah. No, so we'll see how it goes. It's obviously still a big task coming up against Littrell if he gets a bit of bloody momentum behind him. But
yeah,
yeah, and then I
which
mean
is
the rest.
probably expected.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And Origin's different too. So yeah, but
Yeah,
and then the rest of it. I mean, the only other really one that is the dead and on the bench for DCE when DCE's form's been pretty bad. But I mean, they're always going to pick DCE.
mm.
It was yeah, so
What do you,
not
yeah, well,
surprised.
that's an interesting one because you might call this a controversial take. I think Fogarty should have got a crack instead of DCE.
And
Like,
Fogarty,
I
yeah,
know DCE's been there, done that, but Fogarty's been probably the best halfback in the comp this year.
yeah,
Like, he's been fucking unreal.
mm,
Got the good kinky game as well.
yeah,
And then like you just have your Munster, you can still have your Dearden on the bench
yeah.
and just have them causing havoc. Like I don't know, I reckon that would have been a good shout because Cherry Evans hasn't actually been great at all this year. So
And you forget how old he is. Eh? Like he's
yeah,
36 now, and it's like he is.
always
He's
gets
gonna,
targeted
yeah,
defensively as well. Like his reads fuck up his whole edge.
yeah.
Quite often he gets picked apart. Like
Mm.
so,
But
I don't
yeah,
know. Thought it could have been time for a Fogarty for a little bit.
oh, definitely. But it's gonna take them getting cooked in game one for those sorts of changes. Like Billy's obviously
Yeah,
gonna be pretty loyal, but yeah, DC's aging.
yeah,
Fogarty's in form, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, other than that, like Queensland team, I think much to be expected. Like obviously, Dave Fafita's still injured, I guess, and he was out of
yeah.
favour and wasn't going to get picked. So the makeup of their pack is,
Biggest
yeah,
biggest omission for me has to be Big Red. I'm unsure how
yeah,
Corey
right, yeah,
Horsburgh has did not make it.
yeah,
And your Leo made it. That's
yeah,
an interesting one for me.
yeah. I think
Even
that's
your
probably
Lindsay Collins, like Lindsay Collins has only
mm,
just got back from injury. I know that he's a
he's an
one you
origin
pick
player.
because because
Yeah,
he always makes the fucking. But at the same time, yeah, I can't believe that Horsburgh. He's been so. I think that's the thing in the past. He's always had like glimpses of like his talent, but it's always been his temperament that's kind of like fucked him up. But he's like really
yeah,
channeled his aggression. I even remember like the round two when the Raiders played the Broncos. Like
yeah,
the Raiders pack absolutely bitched Payne Haas and shit, and it was mainly like
yeah,
Horsbridges and like Hudson
yeah,
Young, obviously
yeah,
both just like rattling him, just like the whole fucking
yeah.
time. And I was like, that's exactly what they need this game. So it's interesting to see someone like that not get selected.
Oh, 100%. And he is, yeah, I forgot about him. Sorry. Yeah, he's just again, he's an origin player too. Like
Mm.
and you can play him. You can kind of play him anywhere in the pack. Obviously, he can
Yeah,
be like
he can play a
interchange.
bit of edge as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he can play a
yeah,
bit of each. He can
but
be obviously an
yeah,
interchange like 13. He can play start
yeah,
13. He can play through the middle
yeah,
from the start. So he's yeah, he's that is a big call. And I don't know
yeah,
why that is, but I
yeah.
guess
That's a mad one.
yeah, it is. So yeah, but I think that's kind of all I've got to say on it. So I was just pulling them up again to have another look.
Yeah, would you personally for me I would probably start a Bow for more on the edge, and I'm wondering if they're just doing some mind games there saying that Cotter's starting on there. But I think Bow for more deserves a crack on the edge for a full.
Yeah,
I think he's a
yeah,
taller. He's a taller. He's an Origin
yeah. So
player.
he's a
I
good
don't
player.
think. And then you just have your Cotter on in the
Yeah,
middle, speed up the ruck. I wonder if they'll do that, but
100%. I
that
think
would be
that's the
my
way
only
we need
thing.
to. That's the only way to
Yeah,
target that New South Wales pack too. That it just has like the size, and when they bring Lenu on, you have to have some sort of counter, and Cotter's the counter.
yeah,
I reckon. So,
yeah.
um, yeah. I just want to. Anything else you want to talk about there?
Yeah, no, I think I can tell where you're about to come here. You're going to take a
Yeah.
Nathan Brown off the back fence about something to do with
Oh, don't prepare
Kiwis,
for today.
which is quite funny. Do I give you a welcome to country for a Kiwis address here?
No, yeah, I actually am going to need a welcome to country if you can just do that.
No, I'll chat GPT one. You start and then I'll do a welcome to country after maybe.
So this is in typical fashion of myself. I'm going to get real salty about Origin now.
Yeah,
Um, and I think this again, this is just the nature of how much of a big event Origin is. So obviously, I don't really blame the players too much, but it is just pretty frustrating. So obviously, the way International League is set up is that if you want to play Origin, you have to play for Australia, even though everyone knows if these guys could actually pick their country, they would
Yeah,
pick New Zealand and Origin, which is the frustration. So I just want to go through
yeah,
the change in rule, obviously, is to the point where the players can play for their island if they're like from Tonga or Samoa, um, and Origin has been a bit of a tough one. Like I'd rather they just say no, you have to play for Australia or you can't play for anyone else because I think now what's happening is a lot of the Kiwi leagueies are obviously of like Tongan or Samoan heritage, so it's so
yeah.
much easier for them to just go, oh well, I'll just play for my island country. Um, and so I can play Origin too. Whereas 20 years ago, I feel like a lot of these guys would just play for the Kiwis. So I just
Yeah.
want to go through. These are the guys that I reckon potentially would play for the Kiwis if it was 20 years earlier. So New South Wales, you've
Hmm.
got Stephen Crichton, New Zealand born, moved to Australia when he was 8.
Yeah.
Um, you've got Spencer Leniu, moved to Australia when he was 9. Stefano Tukumanu moved to Australia when he was 4. So New South Wales isn't too bad. Um, I've just lost the Queensland team. This is where it gets real ugly, and I guess the reason
Yeah,
I want
because
to
they
talk
go
about it,
over for the theme parks, isn't it? That's the only
yeah,
tricky thing is that
they love
that
theme
Rambo's
parks.
End doesn't cut it, and fucking Wet and Wild is a bit more of them, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So the big thing with this is Jesse Arthurs. I guess no one even realised he was eligible. Everyone just thought he was like a
Yeah,
Māori Kiwi boy who must have moved over to Brisbane when he was like 16, and that's what I thought. And he's obviously talked about playing for the Kiwis before and stuff. So it turns out he moved. This is the funniest thing about Jesse Arthurs that I heard. Apparently he's only eligible by 2 weeks. So he got there 2 weeks before his 13th birthday, so he's just eligible. So that's
yeah,
a bit of a frustrating one. But anyway, so you got Rob Toyer, who's Tongan New Zealander, but moved to Australia when he was 10. Mo Fodawaker's from Gisborne. Gizzy shout
yeah,
out, R&V.
yeah,
So he obviously didn't like R&V like some of the fans of the show. Um,
yeah,
from Gisborne, moved over when he was 11. You got Jeremiah Nanai, moved over when he was 12. So he's even a late
yeah,
one.
yeah,
He should have been with the Kiwis. And then you got Fini Fuiaki, who I was shocked he even made the team. I didn't
yeah.
even check
Nah,
the
that's mad. Yeah,
that shows the
yeah,
depth. And then the big one is Jesse Arthurs, who's like just a dead set Kiwi who's made it. So I just
yeah,
think like I love the spectacle of Origin, but imagine if Origin died. Like imagine if it died.
yeah,
I reckon you'd have all those players I just read out. If not playing for their island, at least half of them probably playing for New Zealand, and it would just strengthen the Kiwis. So I guess my frustration with Origin is just the fact that New Zealand, like we beat Australia 30-0 a couple of years ago. Like on our day, we could be the best league country in the
mm.
world, but I feel like Origin's the thing that really just does fuck us from getting there, like
No,
permanently.
yeah. Absolutely. Origin only fucks New Zealand and England as well, which is the annoying
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Do you agree with like the
that's
whole tier system just needs to get wiped out because it's like,
yeah, because well now all those teams
yeah,
have shown that like they
yeah,
can attract decent players, and it's like
mm,
that should be enough. Wanting to play for that nation should be enough. Like,
mm,
but how
yeah,
can you call yourself like I get it, like you've lived in the country for
yeah,
ages, but like how can you call yourself a proud Samoan? And no, like it doesn't make sense.
yeah,
Like you, there has to be one that you want to play for more than the other.
yeah,
Like they just
yeah.
want the best of both worlds. As
But
a bit,
also,
yeah.
yeah, but also, I kind of see it in the sense that like you can't like let's say you moved over to
No,
Brisbane when you
yeah,
were 10.
I know.
Yeah.
That's yeah,
But my thing
I
with it
get it.
is
But
that
it's
it
like,
just needs to be consistent. Like you either
yeah,
say Origin is an Aussie trial, which is what it used to be when it started, or it's
yeah,
not that. It's its own spectacle now. You're either Origin eligible or you're not. But if you're Origin eligible, that doesn't mean you're not eligible for another country. You know, like you could
yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah,
Like if you're a New Zealander with Samoan heritage that moved over when you're 10, well, yeah, you'll come through the Queensland system, but
yeah,
you're still Samoan, you're still New Zealander, and you're a Queenslander. So like, I don't know. I feel like it's the whole yeah, no, not England and New
yeah.
Zealand,
It's
but
just
then
messy.
it has to be
Yeah,
one or
yeah,
the
yeah,
other. So, and
yeah.
I'm all good if they're going to go, nah, you have to play for Australia, then fuck whatever, like it's their thing.
Mm,
But you can't
yeah,
say, no, it's only England and New Zealand, like the rest of you are sweet.
yeah,
It's like, well, fuck, it's the same thing. Like Luai's playing for Samoa and New South Wales, so why
yeah.
can't
No,
Caleb Thomas
exactly.
play for New Zealand and Queensland? Like he also doesn't want to play
Yeah,
for Australia, like just like Luai.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
because yeah, I didn't
No,
even
hundred
mention Cat
percent.
and Tonga. But the cool thing with it is apparently, obviously, with the Brimson thing that you talked about,
Mm.
now as long as they don't play for Australia, they can swap back.
Yeah, I know,
So,
I know. I
but
think Ponga only has like another couple of years or something, doesn't he? Until he can swap
no, he's
to
eligible.
fucking.
No, he can
Oh,
swap
is he
now.
already?
So
Oh
the
yeah,
the
yeah,
old
yeah, yeah.
the old rule, we've gone on a bit of a tangent, but our league fans won't mind this discussion.
Mm.
Caleb, as because he had played in the nines, apparently that technically counted as like a tournament. So he played for Australia in the nines. He never played for the Kangaroos before. He doesn't fucking want to.
That's right. Yeah,
So
true.
he's
Yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah,
never played. And anyway, and they so that's the reason why he couldn't swap to the Kiwis for the thing last year or the year before when Madge
yeah,
was chasing him. But now they've just
yeah, yeah,
said, well,
yeah,
the nines like doesn't exist anymore, so we're not going to
yeah.
hold that as an eligibility thing, and that's why Brimson could change because he was also on the Australian nines team.
True, true.
So pretty much like as long as they haven't played for Australia, they can swap, but they can just never play Origin again, which is what
Yeah,
Brimson's done. And Max King apparently was about to do it for England, so it might be
yeah,
interesting to
yeah,
see if
yeah,
he still swaps to England. But anyway,
yeah.
so hypothetically, Kalen Ponga could play Origin this year, as could Jesse Arthurs, and then they could say, "Nah, we want to play for the Kiwis at the end of the year," and that's sweet as they
Mm.
just wouldn't be able to play Origin again. So let's see, hopefully, see that happen with some of them. That
Yeah,
would be
well,
the
it's
only.
okay because Callum Pong is going to be at the Canes next year, so that's all
Yeah,
good. But
true. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, we
true.
don't need to spend too much time on that.
Yeah, and also just sorry, one more thing. Rob Toyer.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Canes, you reminded me. You know his first cousins with one of my favourites, Fihi Fingianofo from the Canes.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, first
Oh,
cousins.
small
So
world, isn't it? Small
yeah,
world.
how's that? How's that for a fucking two of your favourites all time?
That's a stat pool. Yeah, thanks for that
Yeah,
stat attack.
yeah, yeah. Of
Um, just to wrap it up, should we do a bit of predictions?
course.
Any punts you've got? Any specials?
Yeah,
Should we
yeah.
do man of the match?
Mm,
Oh, we'll do winner, man of the match, and a
yeah.
try scorer. How about
So,
that?
and can I chuck a same game multi in there too? Actually,
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
oh,
we can
same game
do
multi
one of
all of them.
those.
I'll just same game multi at all. So this is going to pay heaps of bills. Okay, so you go always do this. So I've got to have my man of the match, and I'll have two try scorers. No, I have three try scorers. And what was the other one? Winner.
And result.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so where's the first game again? Keep forgetting.
It's a Suncorp.
Oh yes. So I don't know if it matters at the moment. I think New South Wales is too bloody strong,
Nah.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'll go New South Wales 1 to 12. Same game multi, so we're doing all of this. All has to happen. New South Wales 1 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
Moses man of the match,
Ooh.
and yeah, Moses not Cleary, and then try scorers. Hamiso Tabuai Fido, in my opinion, the greatest centre to ever play the game. Um,
Yeah.
Mitchell Moses himself,
Yeah.
and Brian Toll scores every Origin.
Yeah.
There you go, man.
That's well, there you go. I'm in the same opinion as yourself. I'm gonna go for New South Wales there. Just think their team's a bit too fucking strong at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, man of the match, I'm actually gonna go for I'm gonna go for Payne Haas here. I think
Mm.
he's
Yeah,
he's
true.
due no,
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
no, I'm gonna go for Dylan Edwards. I'm gonna go for Dylan Edwards man of the match, game one. Then try scorers, I'm gonna go for Fatty Mitchell. And I'm actually gonna go for a Zach Lomax double, if that's all right with you, and a
Yeah,
Xavier Coates. I'm gonna
yeah,
go full aerial attack. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so if that's all right with you, will you let that
Yeah,
one
no,
slide?
that's good. Yeah, no, I like that. I like the Lomax call because he's just a try scorer, especially in the
Yeah,
arena.
especially a
And-
wing. The guy
yeah,
is mental as a wing. He needs to
yeah,
be told to shut the fuck up and never play centres again.
yeah,
The game he had on the weekend again was, I know it
yeah,
was just against the Knights, but it's like fucking hell. Don't ever
yeah,
try to play centres again. You're a
yeah.
freak.
100%.
Something
Eh?
like 30 carries, like yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
nah, he's a
The
freak.
guy,
Eh?
the guy, he's a guy.
Imagine if Dragons still had him. Oh, that'd be fucking good if they could still have him
Yeah,
with the rest of his signings. That's just reminded me. One actually I didn't mention. I was gutted not to see Pappenhausen there when you mentioned Edwards. It reminded me. Obviously, people
yeah,
are talking about Tedesco v Edwards, but man, Pappenhausen's so unlucky to have not play in Origin yet. Fuck, he's a good player. I just thought, would they
yeah.
find a spot for him somewhere?
I don't
I
think
just love
it's
what he does.
unfortunately. I just don't think he suits.
Yeah,
I don't think he suits Origin. Like that sounds like he's a. what you're saying about Hudson Young, like he's a flashy,
Yeah,
um, like
I'd like to
he's
see
always
it,
going to star in a
but
big throbbing, like a massive victory.
yeah,
But I think those tight games he could get nullified because he's not as big a body.
mm,
Like he doesn't offer the meters as much as like we
yeah,
might need it in a grind. I think that's probably what goes against him, unfortunately. But
yeah. Although my only counter to that would be the Grand Final 2020 when he just individually raped
no,
Penrith.
absolutely, no,
Um,
I get you there.
yeah,
But
but nah,
I
I
think
don't know.
that's probably what goes against him.
Yeah, nah, definitely. I don't. I'm not saying they shouldn't have picked Edwards. Like he makes the most sense, but yeah, just
Mm.
wish that they could find a way to
Yeah,
get him in
another
there.
smoky actually that we didn't mention that missed out for New South Wales, Kolomatangi. Sorry, I know
Yeah,
you. Oh,
nah. Yep.
he's a gun in the middle and
Mm.
versatility as well. Thought he could be a good bench option.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, I don't know. I think he just needs a shout out, especially after his game on the weekend as well. That was an
Of
absolute
course.
monster of a performance from him. But
Especially now
yeah,
that he's proven he can play through the middle, so he's can cover the
yeah,
whole forward back now. So yeah,
exactly, exactly.
sweet. All right. Should we wrap it up there?
Yeah, apologies to the viewers. Tried to get a bloody tried to get a welcome to country, but
Yeah.
ChatGPT doesn't actually know what it is, which is lucky for it. Lucky for ChatGPT, some might say.
I think a lot of the
Um,
clients don't know what it is either.
yeah, but I think we might have to get a little recording when we're
Yeah, we
watching
can
the
get
game
one.
just on the phone or something and put it on the
Yeah.
socials so that people can get a welcome to country and maybe we can make an edit of it sometime.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Face
something
swap.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
nice.
yeah, stay tuned in that space.
Sweet as. All right, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.